Greetings, Commanders. Welcome in to our second official Star Trek Fleet Command live stream. Things are a little bit different today. We've got a couple of wonderful guests that you guys know and might love. I mean, I can't really.
Not likely.
Not likely. No, this is a surprise. Some of you guys caught that at the end of the last patch notes video. I don't know if you guys even saw it, but at the end of last patch notes video, we teased that we would do a little something, but we didn't say anything else. We just said we were going to do a little something.
DJ,
oh, we've started. What is wrong with you, man?
It says mute. What happened? It says mute.
We've already had one thing. We've already had one thing happen. No. So that's what's going on today. We're doing a little something different. We dropped a little hint about all of that. I can't with you today.
I know,
I absolutely can't.
I've ruined the whole show. Can we start over?
Yeah, we'll just start over.
No, we're live. We're red light. We're live, pal.
No.
Messed it up.
I will say, though, our hearts are a little bit sad because Hammy is stuck on an airplane.
Oh. It's kind of a thing right now.
It absolutely is kind of a thing.
We landed, you got here quite on time yesterday.
Well, DJ, I took a direct flight.
I connected 14 different airports and ended up landing at 6 a.m. Eastern. So what is that, 3 a.m. Pacific time? I haven't slept. No sleep.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be fun today.
So
all
for
the
you,
weeks.
it's like, is it 1 o'clock for you?
It is 1 o'clock for me right now.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm going on like 30 hours, no sleep.
Well, thankfully, Shauna here, Scribbler, Shauna.
Hello.
Didn't have to be stuck on a plane.
Yeah,
Made it here.
She's
Brave
in
LA
charge.
traffic.
So
Which
the
is,
same thing or worse.
Right. LA traffic. But
it was fine.
you made it.
I did.
You made it. So, but we are missing Hammy. That was one thing that we were really, really stoked is to have Hammy here in the room and be able to do this. And so now I'm here, and I don't know why they're letting me do it.
After last time, I'm not eating anything.
I did not prepare any food this time.
Okay.
For those, if you were not here literally a year ago, we did our only other live stream that we've ever done. And we ate wings. And I say we. I did not eat a single thing.
Nope, you just tried to kill us all.
No, we were teasing the 5-year anniversary. That was the kickoff for all of that. And we had this great idea that, you guys would interrogate our GM at the time, David, as well as Echo, while eating some spicy wings.
Didn't go so well.
It didn't. What people don't know, because we played it off really, really well. We had plates of increasingly spicier and hotter wings. And we get to what's supposed to be the last plate. And I bring it up. And I'm downstairs out of the room. I'm watching the live stream from a different room so that way I could, kind of have my space a little bit. I was sweating that day. I was running back and forth up and down the stairs. And one of my coworkers actually asked me where the bottle was for the wings that I just brought up. And I said, well, it's in the trash.
Why would you ask?
Why would you ask? Yeah. I said, I poured the sauce on the wings, and then I brought them upstairs, and here we are. And he was like, well, you didn't pour the whole container, did you? I said, yeah, that's what I've been doing the whole time. I've been pouring the whole container and shaking up the wings and serving them out. And he said, Beck, the instructions specifically say to use 1 drop of that. 1 drop of those wings, because it can cause
organ failure
or heart issues. And I'm sitting there, and we've got like our like PR teams around and things like that, and everybody's eyes just, Beck, what did you do? And it, it's my boss's boss, right? Like, I'm gonna kill my boss. So I ran up here, and then I came into this room. I was very calm.
I know you're aggressive and trying to take over the world, but slow it down a little bit.
I know. I just want to, earn a few more steps up there. You know what I'm saying? Knock a few people out of the way on my way.
It's one way to do it.
It's one way to do it. No, but I quietly, nonchalantly grabbed that plate gently. We had a monitor up for them to see at the time, and so on that monitor I put, do not eat those wings. And I came and grabbed them, and I switched them out with a backup sauce that we had. So
they all lived happily ever.
No,
I'm here again.
Andy's got a good point. Like, it's a very mirror universe way to advance in your career. It's just to kill us all.
Ooh.
Right?
There's
Intendant Beck was here.
That's a leak. That's a year out.
Right,
leak.
a year in advance. You guys knew about this a year ago. See, we warned you. So yeah, it's been super exciting to come out. Thank you again for the invitation. For those of you who don't know, before we dive into a bunch of the game stuff, because we've got some game stuff to leak to you guys, because Beck loves leaks.
She's right here.
Wait, there's a game?
She loves the leaks.
I love vegetables.
Yes, so we've got more stuff to get to, but I would first also like to introduce our two new guests today, because they have never been inside like this live stream. You've not even been in this building, and this is your first panel with us, right?
It is.
Yeah, on the live stream. So this is Griffin, the newest member to the cast of the Talking Trek podcast.
How you doing? Thank you, DJ.
And one of our dearest friends on the show, and a very dear friend to STFC, Miss Scribbler, Shauna Benson, from Prodigy, from the Writers' Room, executive producer. And that was actually how we met, was talking about Prodigy and how great that show is.
Yeah. Thanks.
So really, really glad to have you guys. I know the chat's been asking, who are these new people? So I wanted to say hi to you.
Oh, yeah, I'm the guy that stays up until 5 in the morning editing the videos that you watch, because he can't do it because he's busy sleeping.
Not last night. Not last night. So.
Chat wants to know why you're not green at present, Griffin.
Lo and behold.
Hey, do you have a filter over there for this guy?
Oh,
Just don't listen to him. He's
please
not.
don't.
I can show you how to do it. I've got a button for it.
For those who don't know, DJ likes to turn Griffin green randomly on stream. So
that could have also been a leak.
I'm so sorry for
Orion
that.
Griffin.
Yeah.
It could also be a leak. People don't know, do they? Everything could be a leak.
anything.
Anything could
Anything.
be leaks.
Literally any. There could be hints in this room.
Ooh.
Maybe your hat.
Look around, everybody.
Is there something?
I'm actually looking because I see Spock head back here. That's become a staple here in the office. Is that Spock head? As a matter of fact, that I don't know.
That's a gift from you.
Yeah, they can't see it. Can I grab it? Can I? This
grab it.
This Spock head right here was actually a gift. That,
You talk.
I got it.
This has not been pre-rehearsed.
Oh,
see, you almost
Very
died.
professional.
Killed the
Oh my
Spock head.
goodness.
This was a gift that I bought for Echo, right? I think that's
And
what it was.
myself. Yeah, we each have one.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, see, that's nice.
Mine's on my fireplace mantle.
Yeah, you took yours home, and he's never seen this one again.
Yeah, yeah.
Better than being in the back of his car.
Yeah, mine is on display on the fireplace, where it belongs, where everybody should be able to see it,
As it should be.
as it should be.
Thank
Because
you
who
for-
doesn't want a Spock head
For
just
honoring
on their
the
fireplace?
gift. All right. I am super, super excited. I know we don't have a whole lot of time today.
No, we have a very short amount of time. This is not a very long live stream. Simply just because, well, I don't want to get fired, you guys. So the faster that I can do this and sneak away, then
Oh,
probably
it's all about the getaway plan.
It is about look, I survived last time. I don't know about this time, because you want to know a secret? So with the last patch notes, when I added that little end credit scene, I didn't tell anybody I was going to do that.
Ooh,
I did not.
heck.
Just did it, huh?
I just did it. And
Welcome to the club. How's it feel?
I did it. I took a chance, assuming that maybe somebody would say yes if I had already put it out there that I wanted to do this.
I'm glad that we're rubbing off on you.
Yeah, that's how I do
sneaky
every
devil.
single show.
Yeah, that's very contrary to my personality, but it was Mirror Universe, right? Like, there were so many things that were very different over the last couple of months, which, speaking of, we did say we would talk about at the end of the arc. This is the end of the arc, and it's been a fun one.
There has been a lot of chatter in the Discord about what was the leak that you promised at the end of the arc. We've had to stave people off by saying it's not technically the end of the arc, and technically it's still not. There will be more to come over the next several days. We've got just a little bit for you guys here today, but you also have kind of an agenda here over the next several days, right?
I do. We'll get into that. I don't want to get too far ahead because we haven't shown anything yet. And
Is it time?
technically, you don't even know.
Technically, I know nothing.
Technically, you don't know what we're showing today, which is exciting. I'll just let it stew a little bit. I want to see what the chat thinks we're talking about, if they know. I don't know. I'd like to see in chat.
That would be great.
Yeah,
let's go to the chat. We've got the YouTube chat. We're also watching Discord chat here as well. You guys throw it up. What are some of the ideas about what this whole hype thing is about? Because this doesn't feel like a traditional coming of a new arc, right? Because you're treating this differently. The last time that we had a lot of hype about this, you may remember, was the big grand launch of Next Generation. into the game, which was an iconic property, something that we had never seen before, and Scopely really played that up. There was a lot of fanfare and a lot of play, and it feels like you're doing something like that again.
Maybe. I see a lot of things in the chat. I see. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of Prodigy guesses here.
There are a lot of Prodigy guesses. I have no idea. You said there was hints in frame. She's wearing the T-shirt.
A literal hint.
Literally, she wrote the show. Okay.
I just showed up. I'm sorry. I just here, and I always wear Prodigy shirts because that's what I worked on.
You gotta represent.
So,
You gotta represent.
I represent.
Okay, you guys, I'm bottling. I said, hey, I'm not gonna show anything until 30 minutes in, but I'm like kind of dying to show everybody.
Itchy trigger finger.
I'm really like. Would you guys care if I just skipped ahead and I did teaser number 1?
I think we need to, because it's going to give us an opportunity to kind of chat.
I don't know.
Little
Like
bit.
I'm not allowed to like make these kinds of decisions, am I? I don't know.
On the other hand, you did just make the decision on the last video.
I just did. You know
and it
what?
worked out.
I say we do it. I say, hey, producer man in the back, can we show teaser number 1?
Ooh.
And I have to watch on the stream.
Yeah, I'm
because-
watching on stream too, so there's going to be at least a 30-second delay
I have
before
nothing
we're
in
like,
front of me to look at,
"Ooh,
so,
ah.
I know. It's scary. It's scary. It's scary. Ooh. I know it's a little bit delayed on my screen.
Here we
so-
go. And the image is up. All right.
Yours is faster than mine.
Yes,
Look, I'm
is
still on the
always.
screen.
Yours is running about 2 minutes behind. So what you guys see on your screen right now does appear to be a relatively iconic ship. The chat is going crazy.
Oh, I wonder. Do you all know what that is?
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Shauna, what is it?
Should I say?
I mean, it's a picture
There are
of a
no
ship.
rules.
This is speculation only.
I believe.
We are
Scribbler.
confirming nothing.
Scribbler, what do you see?
I believe that is the NSC Protector.
The NSCA Protector, and that is what that is. From the only non-Trek film officially adopted by fandom into canon, I suppose. I mean, this is... I mean, right? This you and I were talking about this several months ago, because even I didn't know this, that this is actually, by the fans, considered a Trek movie.
Oh yeah, it was voted the 7th best Star Trek film at the 2013 Star Trek convention
That's true.
in Vegas.
That is absolutely true.
It beat a few others.
Yeah.
I'm
It
not
did.
gonna say which ones.
There
but
were several
Yeah.
that it came in ahead of, and I actually did not know that. So when I first heard that this was what Scopely was working on, I was actually a little bit surprised by it. You and I had a conversation about it. I said, okay, I wonder how people are going to feel about this. Like, I even see some people in the chat are saying, well, this isn't Trek. It kind of is. It is officially Trek, as said so by the fans, which I didn't really know much about. You are a lifelong fan. You
am.
have been involved with Trek for as long as you can remember. Where does Galaxy Quest fall into that fandom for you?
I remember seeing it in the theater and loving it. And it was the little movie that could, where it eventually gained a lot of momentum, mostly on DVD, I think. But it definitely, it pays homage to classic Trek and TNG in many ways. And I think it is one of the best, certainly one of the best space opera type films, but it's definitely one of the best representations of a sort of skewed universe of Trek. So, if you think of it instead of being a mirror universe, it's like an alt U where everything just happens to be slightly off. It kind of works because you can totally see the infrastructure around it. Like it's a very built out world, unlike a lot of things.
Yeah. I think like one of the, I don't know if you ever saw they did some interviews with a couple of the Trek actors when that movie came out. And of course there was a little bit of hesitation because at first people were thinking, is this going to be making fun of Star Trek? And it's not. And so actually there are several, like Jonathan Frakes and Sir Patrick Stewart and several other actors actually release statements about enjoying the movie, and they were probably the loudest ones in the theater, laughing and enjoying and really just connecting with the
Widely
film.
adopted and accepted.
Yeah.
It's a great film.
Yeah.
And there's no surprise why fans love it so much, and definitely adopted it into a fan canon.
Yeah.
So herein lies kind of the question that I had at the beginning, and what I do see from the chat, and I think it's a fair question, is it actual Trek? Does it fit inside Star Trek Fleet Command? That was one of the things that you and I had talked about. How do we take this property, which, you know, the game right now has narratively come up with some really good stories to bring in all the different properties.
Yeah.
Some of them have been better than others, but I can see the chat is a lot of people are saying, well, okay, this is a great movie, but is it Trek? Some people may feel that it's not, which is similar to how I felt at the very beginning.
Yeah.
How do you feel that Scopely is going to successfully bring in a totally different property? Like, this is not a traditional Trek property, not a prime timeline kind of story that we can tell. How does the Protector come into Star Trek Fleet Command?
Well, a while back, we announced that we were going to have a crossover in 2024. That was going to be a thing. That was part of the roadmap that was put out, was that we were going to see our very first crossover in-game. And so our team's been working with Paramount pretty closely for, the last several months, year, just to make sure that we do it right. But what I can say is, narratively, the team has really been doing a really great job of bringing all of that together. In fact, you'll probably notice, especially in the coming months, how an arc doesn't just end because the arc ended. They will pour into one another and have something to do with it. So we're finishing up the Mirror Universe right now. I will let you speculate your own thoughts on how, I don't know, the Mirror Universe ties into how the Galaxy Quest crew comes into play.
Interesting.
Yep.
So we had this conversation earlier with regards to what could come, and I'd be interested in seeing from the chat. There are some people in the chat that not sure if this is going to be a good idea, but on the other hand, there are always some people in the chat that are scared of what they don't know and what is to come. On the other hand, I do see some people that are kind of interested and excited to see this new fandom kind of come in, even if it might not fully be Trek. I remind you, community, a lot of you guys said the same thing about Lower Decks when it came out. Like, oh, Star Trek is not a cartoon. And there was a lot of kind of love-hate relationship with the Lower Decks arc as well. So I'm kind of curious how this will, set the community up for the kind of conversations and the debate about, was Lower Decks Trek, is Galaxy Quest Trek? But more importantly, what's it going to do for our game? Obviously, we see on the screen a moment ago that the NSEA Protector is there. We don't necessarily know if the ship is coming or if it was just a tease to the property that is coming, but you have more.
I do have more.
You have more.
This is another little hop, skip, and a jump in terms of, I don't know if I technically am allowed to share this much information, but I felt like it would be fun to leak the officers.
What? The arc is not for 2 more weeks.
We're gonna know things now?
Okay, look, this is probably never gonna happen ever again, right? So like, go big or go home, right? And I'm not gonna leak everything. I'll end it with the officers. I'm not gonna leak everything because in a couple days we're actually gonna have some stuff that gets released on our channels that kind of actually dive more and probably confirm more suspicions that you guys have. We've got several things coming out this week to kind of play into all of that. But Sir Producer in the back, if you would like to pick any one of those wonderful sneaky videos that I slid you this morning, we can take a look at maybe one of the first ones coming in.
Or there'll be a power outage in Culver City.
I know. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for like the Wi-Fi just to like drop or the lights to go out or something.
Oh wow! Here we go.
Wonderful, fantastic.
Oh, my heart.
If y'all know who that is.
Oh, fantastic.
That's a great way to start.
I grabbed Thor's hammer. What an image.
What an image. For those who don't know, that is Alexander Dane. He's the actor Alexander Dane, and he plays Dr. Lazarus on the Galaxy Quest show. I probably didn't tell. I think you know this because we've talked about this before. But I am a very, very big Galaxy Quest fan, so I apologize if I nerd out a little bit too much. But it is actually in my top 5 favorite movies. I've seen it hundreds of times.
Wow,
like I think I have the movie memorized, which.
So you are single-handedly responsible for bringing Galaxy Quest into STFC.
You heard it here first.
Feels like something I would have done.
All right, yeah.
All right. I want to keep going. What's behind door number 2?
Door number 2.
Door number 2.
More?
There's
All right,
more.
let's check it
But
out.
wait, Alan Rickman. Yeah, no. So Alexander Dane is the character.
Is the character?
Yeah,
Yes,
the character
played by Alan Rickman. But the character, because they have 2 names in the movie, right? They have their actor name and they have who they play on the show, and so he is Alexander Dane. Of course, you had to have Commander Peter Quincy Taggart, played by quote unquote Jason Nesmith, aka Tim Allen.
I love it.
Yeah. Super excited.
See, this is the great thing about the Mirror Universe. The Mirror Universe is all about alternate realities. And so this is definitely pushing the envelope. Yes, it certainly is. But at the same time, it is giving us some crossover that we never thought we would see in this game or any game. So the possibilities of the combination. And for those of you who are like me, who actually enjoy and love the narrative of Star Trek Fleet Command, which is all too often not discussed, but the writing, the story, the compelling aspect of combining these 2 properties together from the same team that has brought us amazing stories in the past, like the Lower Decks arc. And a lot of people say that the writing was one of the very best parts of those arcs.
Yep.
Here we go again, now with this new property combining with what we already know and love. And I am excited for it. And we wouldn't have a way to really tell that story, in my mind, I'm speculating, if it weren't for the Mirror Universe in the first place.
Right.
So here we go, arc over arc. Is it really ending? Are we getting a continuance? I'm very excited to see where this goes back. This is really cool.
Well, I'm not going to share that much. But what I will share is door number 3.
There's more? Oh, wait, there's more.
There is more. So we'll wait for door number 3. But, oh my goodness.
See, now I kind of like Leonardo's comment here.
Yes.
You see in the chat. We come for Star Trek. We're Star Trek fans and nerds. And true, I say this not in a derogatory way, I don't think, but true Star Trek fans and nerds do generally love their related properties, their spin-offs, their parodies. And this is parody. I don't disagree. But a real true Star Trek fan probably does adore Galaxy Quest.
Did you see her celebration? With
I
the
did.
clapping?
I saw the big clap. So, you know, I get it. I see a lot of people in the chat like, it's not Trek, and I don't know that there's going to be a big effort here to make this Trek. I think in talking with some of the game design and talking with Beck and with some of the narrative team that we have had fun things in the past. We have had the more lighthearted content. We've had the not so serious and not so dark properties that have come in to have a little bit of fun. One of my favorite ones that you guys remember, and we've talked about it for years, was the April Fool's Tribble event, which is ironic that I bring up April Fool's because a lot of people are wondering if that's what's actually happening here. But
It's July.
we're just late, all right? But no, like, that was a really fun, quirky event. And I'd like to see in the chat, very quickly, there have been fun events. The Halloween Gummies event has always been kind of light and fun. I see this as a piece of content that Scopely is going to come out with that is going to be kind of light and fun, not necessarily to make it Star Trek or make it canon or make it lore, just kind of some of this content that we've seen. Echo was on stage here with just a couple of weeks ago talking about his interim event where it was not designed to be a whole arc worth of content. It was designed to be a fun week of engaging events that were rewarding, and a lot of people really liked those events. It was a wonderful series of events that Echo was able to put together for us, coming from community management to come into live ops, and really created a wonderful set of events that were fun. Do you guys remember that? Like when we played the game fun?
I play the game fun every day. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, of course, obviously. But I see the approach here from game design, the live ops team, the narrative team, I see this approach a little bit differently, Beck. Like the idea behind it is supposed to be a little bit relaxing, a little bit of a catch your breath, a little bit of a light, fun wrap up to the summer as we get ready to dive into what looks like on the calendar a very busy fourth quarter.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff coming, and I know, like, you know, this is the crossover that we talked about for the year, right? You know, so this is one arc, one crossover, and everything is meant to continually tie together. I'm really excited for, you know, like I said, what narrative's just kind of done to make everything just tie into each other. What some of the events and features that are coming for the rest of the year as well to continue to build upon and support the content. There's a lot coming up that I'm super stoked for. But before I get into that, one more.
What do you mean one more?
You have another leak? There is one more.
There's one more.
There is one more.
One more. So we'll pop that one up.
And while that's coming, I do also want to address the chat. Oh my God, it's Sigourney Weaver. She's
No way.
All right, this was a surprise. I did not know this one was coming.
No?
You kept this one from us. Surprises, surprises. Yeah, this is another one.
That's amazing.
I do see in the chat, and I want to acknowledge this because, you know, one of the things that we talked about even in our last stream was that the chat wanted to feel involved and they want to be able to sound off on this.
Yeah.
There are some people that look like they're looking forward to this, and I'm not singling out just positive comments because I've mentioned a couple of them. Like, this is not parody. Some people are even worried about us making a mockery of the great parody that is Galaxy Quest, and I guess that possibility exists, but it also can be a lot of fun. It can be very lighthearted. I see Pirate Yar saying that in the chat, saying, you know, anybody who says that Trek fans, that true Trek fans, will hate this.
I can't stand behind that comment.
No,
I don't
they
know
don't
a
speak
single
for us.
Star
No.
Trek fan who doesn't like this.
That's
film.
what Pirate Yar says.
Yeah.
You can't speak for me. I'm a deep-rooted Trek fan, and I think this is going to be great. If for no other reason, then it's just a little bit of something different, a little bit of something that is quirky and fun. And I mean, I want quirky and fun. I always have been a fan of that. I've always loved parody and
Well,
and
you
humor
are
and stuff,
quirky and fun, and in fact, a parody. You're a cat on TV.
I look at it too from a narrative perspective, of course, and I don't know if you guys know, but the Trek universe is not real. Just FYI.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, I know. It's
Spock is
crazy.
right here on the
because
table with us.
Because
Take it
we
back.
live within it.
Take it back.
And
Look into the bust and say it
I
again.
think what is sometimes jarring is when you get pulled out of the reality that you very often fall into with this universe, because it is 60 years of content and it is grown and morphed, and you know, the canon has absorbed a lot of things. I mean, a Borg trouble is not a thing we have ever seen anywhere, and yet it is one of the greatest officers in the game.
Sure.
And so I think it's awesome to occasionally get a little meta about it. I mean, the movie is meta because it's commenting on the show itself. It's also commenting on things that happened around the show, but especially the fandom. And at the end of the day, all of us that play this game are fans. And that's, to me, what the really strong connective tissue is, that it doesn't really matter about the story as much as it does, I mean, and how it integrates into Trek as it does, that it's something we enjoy and it's familiar. You know, the tropes and the parody is because it's familiar. You know, the chompers is ridiculous. And my favorite, it's honest to God, my favorite line in the entire movie is she says this episode was badly written. And I agree. There are terrible episodes of Trek. We all agree that. And, you know, they live alongside the greatest episodes. So,
You know, I agree with your point, Shauna. And in fact, we're already assuming too much. Again, going back to my comment about the narrative, we don't really even know how this property and content is coming into the game in the first place. We assume that we're getting the actual officers that are portrayed in this film, but what if it's the actors who were just on set one day and it's the actual people coming into the game and experiencing the actual Star Trek universe? There are so many different ways that this could go that would be highly entertaining. And if you take that standpoint, that could mean one day, DJ, you could be beamed into this game.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much.
I've had an avatar coming for 5 years. All right, so yeah,
that was a very sore subject.
In the works.
I didn't mean to bring that up. Yes, I absolutely did.
I think that it is important also to recognize what this represents on a business scale. We've talked about this in the past, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting a look that this is something we can talk about or not. But speculatively speaking, we have seen property come out into this game. We've seen content come out into the game that has a particular marketing component to it, to something like we've seen Discovery seasons that have matched their in-game arcs. We've seen the same thing with Lower Decks. When Lower Decks came into the game, they were doing a big promotion, with Paramount Plus to get that out there. And so I think what you're pointing out shouldn't be undersold. There is an anniversary coming up for Galaxy Quest, and
25 years.
25 years. And
it's
so
been
25 years.
I'm buying that home.
I know.
By the way.
How old do you think I am?
It's the 25th anniversary this year.
By the way.
But so I think that is kind of like the point that I'm trying to make. Sorry for banging the mic. That's the point I'm trying to make is we've seen promotional and marketing tie-in, and so I don't think that people should be wildly surprised by this. Again, I totally acknowledge some of the concern because, again, I shared a lot of that in the very, very beginning, and I haven't seen all of the gameplay yet, but I have talked to them about the mindset of what they're trying to accomplish with this arc, and just its approach to having some fun and some silly things to do. I don't think we should be surprised that the multi-billion-dollar marketing engine that is Paramount is wanting to use their number one revenue generating video game company partner to help bring in an audience. Yep. And Galaxy Quest is different, right? I mean, there are people who have seen that movie that don't watch Trek, and vice versa. So I'm not necessarily surprised by this, and there's even precedent for it. So again, not defending or anything like that, but just kind of pointing out, like, we've seen this before, and some of that content has turned out to be really, really good content. The Lower Decks arc continues to be some of my favorite content of all time in the game. So, and not to go all the way back to Discovery, but it's one of the most heavily used utility ships in the entire game. We could see something, I don't know, we could see something mechanically, fundamentally altering about the game that could come out because there is precedent for that kind of thing with this type of. They're going to come out with this property, which may not be the most popular thing, possibly, but give it an ability or a utility that could be something great that we use in the game for a long time to come. And again, I don't know. I haven't seen all of that yet, but I just want to kind of err on the side of caution for people who are concerned about the content. Listen, sometimes it's not just about the story. It can be, but sometimes it's about the gameplay as well. And I saw that in the chat as well. Guru says, well, this is all for naught if the gameplay isn't good. I think we have to wait and see and just be a little bit cautious on what the gameplay is going to turn out to be. Cautiously optimistic, but we'll see what that ends up being.
You mentioned a little bit that, so DJ, you have seen a little bit of some of the stuff that's planned. Simply, being on that side, and the CC's got a little bit of a little look ahead of time. Griffin and Shauna Scribbler did not have a heads up about what was coming on today. So you looking at next month, there's a lot of content to interact with next month. I have said for months, like I've been around your show and I've been in the Discords and things like that. You guys know that I am Ops 39. And I have said since last November that I had a target of hitting at least Ops 40 before August. And this is why. I have been looking forward, me personally, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that I've been looking forward to it, but I've been looking forward to it. And I was talking with Griffin last night because Griffin came in ahead of time. He did not get delayed like some people. Mm-hmm. And he was telling me, Beck, you got to just hit the button. Like, what are you waiting for? Why are you waiting to go to Ops 40? And, it's always kind of been that little mindset. That's where you stay. You stay at 39. And then you move on to 40. But
camping is bad.
Well, and we hadn't even.
camping is bad.
Well, that's
Nobody
exactly what we're talking about. And I asked her, you got to get beyond and past that mindset. I said that we were the first channel on Talking Trek that removed any and all reference to camping at 39 in any of our videos, regardless of views. Even though there are some of the most popular videos on the channel, we took them all down because it's no longer the strategy of the game. In fact, it's harmful to watch videos that talk about camping at 29 and 34 and 39. You do need to push that button and get into the 40s if you're going to experience the new content first run. And I have always been, we even talked about it last week on a live stream with Hamster, about being a proponent to breaking down any barriers or walls within the game, hopefully, that will help players progress through the 30s to get to that 40 range to experience that new content.
Yeah, and part of it has been, whether or not there are resources and things that are available to kind of help you get there. And with talking to the team, they actually let me know that they're going to be making some resources available in the coming days to kind of help encourage those players that have kind of been on the fence about hitting that button. I will be joining. I will be going to Ops 40 this weekend.
We have another indoctrination, DJs.
Well, I mean, that is something that we've talked a lot about and spent a lot of time on, which is a totally different topic from today. But I do kind of want to hone in on something that Beck pointed out, and I think it's important for us to extract that little bit of information, because she's very good at leading us with nuggets, is that she has been pushing to get to Ops 40 for this arc. And we've talked about this for many, many months. And I don't know if it belongs on this Scopely stream, but G3 content has been sunsetted. Mm-hmm. All right. And so for people who talk about camping and staying at 39, there can be disastrous effects. I see that people say, well, spending or not spending, it doesn't matter anymore. New content comes with G4. G3 is done. So when we're talking about staying at 39, you're talking about eliminating these new experiences for you as they come out into the game, which is the best time to experience them, learn them, and source them. So Beck points out that this is 40 plus content, and I think that is a loud message to people that they need to hear, is that it is time for us to push, and it is time for people to stop waiting on G3, because G4 is where the content's going to be. Well, and we can also now see that Galaxy Quest appears to be G4 content as well.
I agree with all of that. And speaking for people who are not Ops 40 and above, like my sister and writing partner Julie, who is just Ops 30, and she's been in the game for a year. And I have been advising her to try to keep her from accelerating too fast, in part because of the lack of resources for her to be able to jump really quickly without it being harmful to her. Right. With the way that the banding is in this game, like as in Ops 37, my base was rated by an Ops 57, which is obscene. They hit my base with a 500 million ship. Mm-hmm. Like that's like my little 50 million power base. But I think that there's a huge amount of content that has come out since the beginning of this game. And of course, when the game started, Ops 40 was the top level you could even get to. So I think that there are really two games inside this game. There is the first game that you play when you come into Star Trek Fleet Command. And that is the one where you learn the rules of the road, right? Where you learn how the game operates, you learn what you need to do to be successful, and then this other game starts at Ops 40, where you've gotten your feet wet, you take off the training wheels, and now you're playing with everybody else, and you're engaging with the new content. So I that's the only thing I kind of put an asterisk next to, is that there is some justification for when you first start out in this game, especially if it's something that you want to put a lot of time into and effort into. Then it's not horrible to take your time to get where you want to be. I always say, play the game, don't let the game play you.
Right. I was actually talking with Rev a couple weeks ago, and he was giving me a little bit of trouble for my pacing in game, because I've it took me 2 years to get to where I am. And even I felt like I was rushing a little bit. But that's simply just because I just play very, very slow.
It took me 2 years to get to Ops 39 too.
But that's why but when I, like when I joined, it was so much faster, you know?
It was.
So, but that's why I set myself a goal. I said, this is what I want. And what I will say is that there's going to be a lot of content coming out that's going to be really fun to engage with. Like, enough to make me hit the button, you know? Yeah. Before I was like, I'm okay with my pace, and I've been sitting and waiting. You know, I've got my speed ups ready. I've got my mats, my resources ready to go. I'm caught up on my research. I just haven't hit it. And actually, what I should have done is brought my phone here and hit the button here, like while we were sitting here, and have a timestamp. You know, I hit the button. I went off. I'll probably do it this weekend. But I will say, like, you know, you brought up like not having resources available, and I think the team's working on cooking something up to be able to offer that to players who are wanting to make sure that they're ready to go.
I do think, however, that as the game has evolved, that it is easier to progress fast, you know, that you don't have to spend as much time at some of these levels in order to get to the next piece of content and engage with it. And that is a real advantage. Like, my sister has Jonathan Archer, who she's not going to be able to really use as an officer for a while. At Ops 30, he's not extremely useful to her. I mean, he's useful from a standpoint of he's an epic and he has some ability, but the real use of him is not going to come for a long time. But she has him, and that's crucial for her to go down the road.
Yeah. Well, I will say, like, I gave us a very hard stop today, you know, and we're almost at that time. And I've been seeing the comments, I've been reading them all, and I've been seeing them, you know, go from one end of the spectrum to the other. I've definitely seen a lot of people very hesitant about what's coming because it technically is not Star Trek, and I get it. I've also seen people on all the way on the other side that are like, I am a huge Star Trek fan through and through. I love Galaxy Quest. You obviously have the ones like DJ was pointing out, hey man, as long as like the mechanics are there and the content is good, I'm looking forward to it. And then you have people who are like, I just hate all this. And then, you know what? You're going to be somewhere in there. I would say just wait. Just wait, because we'll find out. We'll find out. You know, we've never released anything this early, and the reason we really wanted to do it is because this is probably the only time we're going to do this in terms of this early of leaking content, right? I've been trying to sneak in things a little bit earlier every month. I don't think I can do a few weeks out like I did this time, but I was just too excited to wait. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how people interact and engage with the content. But what I will say is this: the leaks are not done. I'm not going to say anything more on this stream, but like I said, we've got something coming out on Thursday for players to be able to look at and to read and see a little bit more about what's coming. We've got some stuff coming out on Saturday that I'm not going to share just yet, but just, you know, keep your eyes open on our official channels then. And even more stuff next week about maybe some upcoming features in the game as well. So it's really just like, I just want to tell you guys all the things, and it's really hard to not tell you all the things. But I'm gonna hold it at that. But as we're kind of like wrapping up a little bit, what are some final thoughts? Are you, Shauna?
Yes.
What do you think? Are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to it. I go into every single month with an open mind, and because I don't know what's coming. I'm not a traditional content creator. I do stream. I do play the game on stream, but I am not the kind of person who has access to information in advance. So I get excited about whatever is coming our way. I am very intrigued as to how this will be used in the game. I'm insanely jealous that I didn't get to work on this in a narrative way, because I mean it's just like the ideas just pop so easily in my head. And look, Star Trek is also one of the great origins for fandom and crossovers. Like, Star Trek kind of invented crossovers in a lot of ways. Like, you wouldn't have the fan fiction that you have out in the world if it weren't for Star Trek and what it has brought to that. So I love it. I'm excited.
What about you, Griff?
Griffin is happy because I like the Mirror Universe. The direction that this game has taken the past several months has been very positive for me, and I've really enjoyed engaging in it. It's a lot of fun. It's open. Yes, I am an Ops 40 plus player, and I understand that there are people who are not, who are still trying to get there to experience this content. So step one, get yourself to Ops 41. Don't stop at 40. Go to 41. That's my last tip of the day. But anyways,
Go to Ops 70. It's fine.
Guys,
It's a hop, skip,
I
and a
didn't
jump.
tell him to say any of this, just so you know.
You only need the resources to go to 41, DJ. We don't, be that as it may. The Mirror Universe has been a lot of fun for me to engage in, and I do like it. It has sunsetted a lot of older loops that I no longer have to engage in, and so I like it. I love Alan Rickman. I love everything that he has ever done. Seeing him immortalized in this game is a really fun feature for me, and I like it. To DJ's point, there are always features. There are always new loops to go into the game to make it fun and refresh, and I'm excited to see what this property can bring to the game. When worlds collide are things that we always enjoy talking about. So I am very optimistic, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it will bring, because it is not technically branded Star Trek, but everybody knows that this film is all about Star Trek, and it's loved by all of the people who created Star Trek. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for Griffin. So I am definitely looking forward to seeing the direction of this game and where it takes.
So my opinion is mixed. I am looking forward to the gameplay. I'm looking forward to the content and seeing how the mechanics implement into the game and making it better. The one thing that I think Scopely has done well over the last few months is sunsetting previous content and consolidating time. That's one of the biggest cries from the community. From a community representative, we talk about them reducing screen time. And while there have been grinds added, there have been other grinds reduced by these bundles, the export bundles. So I'm interested to see how the mechanics will improve the current gameplay. I am mixed, as I was on day one, about Galaxy Quest being a property in this game, because it is not Trek. All right, but I think it can be fun if it's handled right. I think that if it's treated right and it's done the right way, then I think it can be okay. It's not something that's going to make me upset or make me mad at a Star Trek game that it's got something like this in it. But it does need to be done in just the right way, I think, to make sure that it is respectful of Star Trek, which it was when it was created, but we're talking about a new universe here, a new story. So I think that that's really important. I am, however, always have been much more of a utility guy. How is this going to impact my game? And that is where I will reserve the biggest judgment. I am not necessarily worried about, you had mentioned earlier, there are non-canon officers in the game. Borg Tribble is not real. Most of your mining officers are not real. Those don't exist within the Star Trek movies and TV series. So I am okay with things that come into the game if it improves the utility of the game. And that is where I'm going to pass my ultimate judgment, and I can't do that yet. So I am cautious about it. History has taught me to be cautious when talking about upcoming implementation. We've always talked about ideas being great. Implementation will be key. That is where I fall on it. I'm totally okay with the idea if it makes the game better, and that is what I'm going to wait to see.
I think that that's very fair, and like I appreciate you guys sharing all three, different views on the same thing in terms of, from the writer's perspective, from the content perspective, and from the mechanic perspective. I guess mechanic content kind of hand in hand. But I really appreciate you guys being willing to sign up for a live stream that you didn't know exactly what was going on. I just said, hey, you want to just show up to the office and I'll bring you out here and we're just going to talk about something. No, I really appreciate it. And today we're going to take a little, we're going to end the stream, but after that, I actually want to challenge you guys to a little bit of trivia. Ooh. That may or may not be run by Hammy himself.
Ooh, Obsidian Hamster in the house.
Obsidian Hamster. I believe he's about to touch ground and be on his way to the office.
Awesome.
But I think that trivia has a twist, and we're all going to find out together because I have not touched it this time. I left it all up to Hammy, and we're going to see what happens. So you guys are going to see that part a little bit later. But until then, keep your guys' eyes open on the official channels. We're going to be releasing stuff every couple days, a little more nuggets here and there about what's coming up. And I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited about the what ifs, you know? Yeah. It's an adventure. So, but anyway, I don't know if anybody else has any final words, or should we just do the thing? Should we just sign off?
I want to point out that Beck is officially 5 minutes over schedule.
I am.
What?
Yeah, I just want to point out, as we were watching Run of Schedule and trying to be careful with everything, we're 5 minutes past the hard cutoff there.
Yeah.
Why have a 45-minute stream when 2 hours?
Throwing that out there.
I don't think you can sign off this stream with anything other than never give up, never surrender.
Yeah.
All right. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you guys, and see you later.
And we were able to get 2 more minutes in.
DJ, what is wrong with you? Quit